Protagonist. If someone asks me who my favorite characters are, I tend to gravitate towards the protagonist, the main character, the MC. Could have something to do with me having main character syndrome. An ex told me I had that once, don't ask. But truthfully, the reason why I like them is because of what they represent. Many literary institutions identify the protagonist as the character the story is about. But you're smart, so you know it's a bit more complicated than that. Or I assume you're smart. I did create you after all.
The protagonist is the character who drives the action, whose fate matters most. In other words, they are involved in and often central to the plot or conflict of the story, but are also usually the emotional heart of the narrative.
Not a bad definition. It provides a more nuanced take on their role, to be the driving factor of the narrative and the vessel of its core elements, the one who shoulders all of the themes and ideas the story wants to convey. Even Merriam-Webster makes the correlation between the Greek word protagonistas, which means the first struggler, to the role of the protagonist in a story, to stand and struggle against someone or something, maybe even themselves. The protagonist struggles against the status quo, to reach an understanding of the narrative's themes, themselves, or to simply gain the power needed to fight against the forces that be. Pretty entertaining stuff if you ask me. Though the protagonist character has taken different forms throughout many years in fiction, I wonder if I can find a perfect character that accurately embodies the definition we just talked about, the struggler protagonist. There are certainly a number of mediums to choose from in order to find out, but that sounds like too much work for me. I'm curious, but not that curious. I'll just need to narrow my area of study. So let's try... shonen protagonist.
Is that him? Must be him. His voice does not match what he looks like.
Jorge has always put the
Then
ones
again,
he
I get
loves
that response
first,
a lot
but
too.
he's let his own dental care take a back seat. Time for a chef.
Hey, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
There is truly nothing like protagonist characters in shonen. They have an energy about them, an aura that pulls me in like no other medium. Luke Skywalker, Hamlet, Odysseus, cool I guess, but have you heard of Ichigo Kurosaki? Now that's a main character. But let's not get lost in the weeds here. The question is whether or not any of them fit my ideal struggler protagonist model. Who do you think it is? Ah, I got it. The steadfast, free-spirited, soon-to-be pirate king who might be the literal textbook definition of a dynamic character. Funny enough, Luffy isn't that bad of a pick for a protagonistas. I kind of hate saying that word. I think I'm just gonna stop saying it. Oda consistently places Luffy in fights against enemies that can bypass his brute strength, forcing him to get stronger in more ways than just a strong punch. Well, except for that time, and that time, and that time. But seriously, Luffy has had to grow as a captain, a friend, a fighter, a dreamer, a freedom fighter. There have been times Luffy has had to grow through struggle, but does that make him the struggler protagonist?
I don't think so.
Not really. One Piece tends to bend to Luffy's will more often than not. For how long the series is, I can count on one hand the amount of time.
I don't know. I think a good struggler protagonist is probably Midoriya. Because even when he got his powers, he was still suffering because this dude was breaking his arms just to throw a punch, like every time, or his fingers, depending on the situation. So that right there was a struggle in its own, because that it was pure masochism if you stop and think about it. But like it was just Jesus Christ. It was getting a little too much with the whole broken arm. I think the one that really made me cringe. Now I say cringe in a bad way, but cringe to watch is when he went against the dude with the purple hair who can like take over people's minds when you ask him a question, and the same dude punched his finger when it was already broken. That I felt that one. That still up to this day makes me shiver in like under my belt. Like it's crazy. When he punched his finger while already purple and broken, bro, the pain. Remember, he broke his fingers twice. He broke his fingers twice because it was blue and went straight purple. And then he punched the finger. I was like, bro, oh my god, I couldn't. I felt it. It just bothered the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I low-key didn't like the purple hair for a good while. I think his name is Shinzo. I think it's Shinzo. I did not like Shinzo throughout the entire arc after that punch. But I'm respectful of him now when they brought him back on the I think 3rd or 4th season. But Jesus Christ, that punch bothered the shit.
Times Luffy was punished for a decision he makes or a belief he has, he typically is rewarded for his steadfastness, and as a fan, I guess I can't complain too much. One Piece just isn't that kind of story. Would be difficult to be the manifestation of liberation if the story was consistently keeping him from liberating people. So, sorry Straw Hat, you don't make the cut. Who else? Naruto maybe?
I guess so.
Definitely not. Don't get me wrong, I like Naruto as a main character and what his ideology offers to the story. For a character whose ethos is not that hard to understand, fans love to misinterpret his role as an MC. Naruto was supposed to be about doing it yourself, is the common complaint when discussing Naruto's ethos, since the titular Fox Boy ends up being tied to an ancient prophecy. But Naruto was never about that. The story's themes have always been about believing in yourself even when no one else does, breaking cycles of hatred, and never...
Okay, if I have to say a character who's struggled, I would say probably Asta. Asta, and because he didn't have no powers, or at least didn't have a grimoire, and people still looked down on him after he got his grimoire.
If Naruto was a girl, it'd get annoying so fast.
Oh no, you have no idea. If Naruto was a girl, it would get fucking annoying real fast.
Going back on your word. Even the reincarnation element of the story, whereby Naruto and Sasuke's fate are tied to their ancestors, was tossed to the side by our protagonist, choosing to fight to save his friend rather than continuing the cycle. Naruto's world does push back against him and his ideals. His struggle against the status quo is what draws people towards him. So why doesn't he fit the bill for the struggler protagonist? Well, this is where I think the topic of plot armor comes into play. I'm looking for a character whose position is a little more grounded and isn't consistently being saved or pushed to the forefront by the narrative. I give Naruto a lot of praise for what he has accomplished,
Midoriya or
but I can't ignore the massive buff he gets
Midoriya or Asta
over other characters simply because of Kurama.
I'm not gonna lie, Rock Lee suffered more than he did, I guess, in a certain way.
Never knew that about Naruto past.
You never knew that he was tied to destiny, and he was low key like the ancestor son of the Six Paths. You didn't know about that?
Says no.
The fuck? I thought you knew about this. How far are you in Naruto? The shit. I know Joe has probably harassed you on that because Joe is fucking up on that whole show. I know that he loved Naruto. What the fuck?
Says my date is officially done. Him on cloud 9.
Good for you.
I don't think our struggler protagonist should have a consistent get-out-of-jail-free card. Okay, so not Naruto either. Midoriya?
Let's see if I'm right.
My name is Alani. A little thing I like about the spicy deluxe sandwich is that you taste
I don't give a shit.
Much like Luffy, Midoriya is the embodiment of the themes, being a natural-born hero who helps people with a smile no matter what. It is the very reason he is chosen by All Might in the first place, although it's his outward appearance, confidence, and inexperience that holds him back for a large portion of the story. So fans had a hard time viewing him as a main character. Others, like Bakugo and Todoroki, were touted as being better candidates for the role of main character because they were more interesting. Deku being the most timid while also being the most courageous is what makes him perfect for the role of main character in My Hero. As the story continues, the lines between hero and villain become blurred. The failures of those who are supposed to be the protectors created the villains that are destroying the world. The hero system that everyone believed in was built on shaky ground, and villains like Shigaraki have come to topple it over. Someone like Midoriya, who embodies the themes of saving people who need it and trying his best no matter what, is the kind of person who can actually bring change to this world. He struggles against villains, his heroes, his friends, his powers, even himself. pushing further and further to save as many people as he can.
Says
No
Joe
other
never
character can
bothered
fit
me
this
about
role.
that
He is the
TBH.
perfect
I don't
protagonist
remember.
for my hero. Super close, but still not what I'm looking for. Deku's core character is never really challenged by the story. Like, he lives in a hero society, so everybody wants to be a hero. The only people who really chastise him for the way he is are the villains, and I guess you can say Bakugo, but that's not really surprising. I thought I really had it that time. All right.
I guess that's a good point, but it's not like he's like the only one who doesn't have I guess so, because like there's people who don't have powers at all, so it's not like he's like a very special case, unlike Asta. I think Asta was the only one who didn't have
So let's
powers.
take a step back. What we're looking for is a character that follows all three of these elements. Being the embodiment of the core theme of the story, isn't overpowered, lacking in an easy way out during heavy plot moments, and lastly is constantly struggling against the world that they inhabit. The characters we've already talked about, and many others in the shonen genre, have some of these things in spades, don't get me wrong. I'm sure Ichigo from Bleach and Denji from Chainsaw Man came to mind. But the issue is I don't think any of these characters
Asta. It has to be
enough.
Asta.
I'm looking for someone who's a little more like Guts from Berserk. Berserk being a seinen, so it doesn't really fall in this category. But Guts definitely is the type of character that is constantly fighting back against the world that he exists in. But as the main character, it is his role to continue pushing forward and present the viewer with what this story is really trying to tell them. But Berserk is pretty dark in its setting and covers a lot of heavy story elements. You don't really see that kind of stuff in shonen series. Maybe there just isn't a shonen character that fits my model for the struggler protagonist. Wait, hold on.
Asta?
Yes, there is.
Asta. What? Oh, you gotta be fuck out of here, bro. No, I don't agree with this. I do not agree with Itadori. Fuck out of here. No, we haven't already had this conversation. I do not think Itadori is a... Yes, he struggled given the most recent arc, but like, he's not Gojo. You know what I'm saying? He's not even Megumi. Obviously he's gotta struggle, but like, he doesn't have like a domain expansion. Fucking Megumi has a domain expansion. I'm saying like the dude just fights with the fists. He fights with the cuffs. Like it's just I don't think that's a good argument. That's a shit argument. That's not, it makes no sense.
There is an ideology that hangs over every facet of Jujutsu Kaisen's world. A poison that seeps into the psyches of every character. The concept of power and what it means to be someone with it and to be someone without. Jujutsu Kaisen is plagued by a single philosophy. Those who choose to hold on to their...
Yeah. Oh my god, that's the perfect example. He is the Sakura of the group. It's like if you combine Sakura and Naruto, because he has the blue, like, black flash thing. He's the useless one. Well, I want to say the girl with the hammer is not useless. I don't think they just didn't use her well, but she was really resourceful in how she fought, but you know.
Their humanity will always be weak. Those who discard their humanity in the pursuit of power and Jujutsu will obtain the title of the strongest. Now, typically, this kind of rhetoric is something you only really see touted by villains of shonen stories. Think Madara, Aizen, early Dragon Ball Vegeta, or even early Buu Saga Vegeta. But that's the thing about Jujutsu Kaisen, where characters like Sukuna are the embodiment of this ideology, and I will get to him in a moment. He isn't the only one who upholds it. Satoru Gojo is often looked as better suited for the role of protagonist than Yuji by many fans. He is all-powerful, a god amongst men, titled the strongest of his era. His presence is felt at every turn, and so much focus is placed on him in the story. He's undeniable, and I can see why people see him the way they do. But Gojo, like Sukuna, is a byproduct of the poison that plagues the Jujutsu world. Since he was born, Gojo was able to sense the difference between him and everyone else. This massive gap in ability caused him to become jaded and indifferent from those who are weak. This
is that response that Geto said. Are you the strongest because you're Goto Satoru, or are you Satoru because you're the strongest, or some nonsense he said?
continued all the way into his teenage years. Although his perspective did change a little due to his experience during the Star Plasma Vessel arc, coming to understand that maybe he wasn't capable of fixing everything with his power, looking towards the future generation for help, that poison could never truly be washed away. His rebirth in his battle with Toji brought Gojo to new heights. He towered over everyone even more than before. No matter how strong his allies were, that gap would never close, and the loneliness that comes with it never left him, especially after losing the only person he believed understood him. The death of Gojo and soon after Kashimo at the hands of Sukuna brought light to the downfall of those who achieve the peaks of power, for there can only be one at the top, and chasing it only leads to feeling profound loneliness and eventual defeat by someone above you. But you don't even need to look at one character to see how this obsession with power is illustrated. The very hierarchy of Jujutsu sorcery is drenched in this poison. Prioritizing powerful curse techniques, strong fighters, and cursed tools has created generations of prejudice, discrimination, and abuse within the clans of Jujutsu sorcery. Those who do not show promise from birth are cast aside and considered burdens. It has fostered profound levels of hatred within one's own family. Look no further than the Zenin clan. Maki, Megumi, and Toji have all been subjected to discrimination and hardship because of the Zenin clan in a number of different ways. It has all led them to pursue power in the hopes of breaking the chain of their birthrights. No matter the reason, no matter how altruistic, allowing the obsession to seep in will lead characters like them to allow themselves to toss their humanity aside and become monsters themselves. Toji was almost saved from this fate because of his wife, but the moment she died, so did his will to hold on to his humanity. Megumi.
How can Gojo make him plan a reality if the creator him?
I feel like the series Jujutsu Kaisen could be better. How can Gojo make him plan a reality if the creator him? What? I don't understand.
Being someone everyone placed a profound level of pressure and faith in because of his curse technique, grew up with a chip on his shoulder, causing him to act incredibly reckless at times, trying to shoulder
Oh wait, I feel like the series Jujutsu Kaisen could be better. How can Gojo make himself plan a reality if the creator himself doesn't even like most of the characters? Well, that depends. Has he outright said that?
responsibilities all on his own. His need to prove himself and survive has led him to make decisions that he knows his peers would never approve of. Even Maki, a character who was actually able to break free of the Zenin clan curse by destroying the clan itself thanks to her awakening, but it was her ruthlessness and beast-like demeanor that caused even some of her
X,
peers to
what's going
call
on, bro?
her a monster. Even when she speaks about Mai's death, she has stated saying she
creator
lost her
doesn't
heart.
like Gojo
Losing
and
her
he
tie to
wants to
humanity
finish the
seems to be
anime in a
the
year.
only way for her to ascend, and there's no going back from there. Jujutsu Kaisen consistently pushes characters into a corner to where their worst selves emerge in order for them to succeed. So many characters in JJK have either fallen into
He's talking about as he's talking about characters as individually.
Says at EVX
You're
Core,
talking about-
welcome to the stream.
I think we lost the site. We're supposed to be talking about the one character that. Now let's see.
into the trap of chasing strength or becoming a cog in the machine of Jujutsu sorcery. It's a never-ending pile of death and suffering, and the one who stands at the peak of it all is Ryomen Sukuna, the one who doesn't just propagate this concept of throwing away his humanity, he embodies it. Once a human who slowly morphed into something else. Not fully a curse, but definitely no longer human. His obsession with power and the freedom to do, take, kill, crush
Says
anything
Chi-Chi's
he wants
talking
has
manga
turned him
stuff.
into an unapathetic monster. He
Yeah, I know.
towers over others like Gojo, but on a larger scale. And because of the
Oh, for
power he
sure.
possesses, his way of life is pushed upon anyone weaker than him. Again, much like Gojo, he is undeniable, or at the very least it feels that way. It has even caused some fans to view Sukuna as the one who embodies the core elements of Jujutsu Kaisen's ethos. But it's not him. It's not Sukuna. It's not Gojo. It's not Megumi. It's not even Yuta. None of the major players in the Jujutsu world embody the narrative's
is
ethos.
pissing me
All
off?
of them have fallen
Says
victim
it
to the
bright
poison of
close
seeking
hail.
power and discarding their humanity for it. All except...
Everybody, it's Bobby Flay, and I'm here with my
I don't care.
Since the first time I watched Jujutsu Kaisen, I fell in love with Itadori Yuji. He is a very unique character while appearing simple on the outer layer. He truly stands alone from his shonen contemporaries, and for a long time, I never knew why. Again, he seemed rather simple in terms of what you would expect from a high school shonen protagonist, a strong sense of...
I have this feeling too. I don't think he watched it, or if he did, he didn't watch it all the way. I just don't, I don't know, I just don't feel that way about Itadori.
Says on TikTok.
Itadori only struggled at the last season.
Says probably not.
Because let's be honest, let's just be dead honest. Majority of the reason why most of the characters either got offed or seemed like they was not ready for this fight for the Shibuya arc is because they got too comfortable with the idea that Gojo was around. So everyone ultimately suffered because everyone got inept at the fact that Gojo was at least there. Their whole ace in the hole was Gojo in general.
Why off the other character when Gojo has a plan for himself and his students to overthrow the big guys?
Yeah, it's like, there's no point. It's like, it defeats all the purpose, right? So like, as long as Gojo was just literally in breathing room of everyone, or just in the vicinity, everyone felt safe. Right? But once Gojo was taken out of the equation, that's when everyone started dropping like flies. So obviously someone like Itadori is going to suffer in the last season because he doesn't have any flashy moves. The only thing he does is hit things. That's it. He don't even hit harder. He just hit things faster, I guess. And I'm saying, without the Black Flash, that he really isn't anyone. He just has abnormal human strength. That's it. Nothing more. He's nothing special. I don't see anything special about him. Actually, that just makes everyone else just as...
That's their mistake, that they didn't focus on others. Gojo was their protection.
Yeah.
Says welcome.
So this is why I don't see Itadori in this particular subject we're talking about, the perfect protagonist to suffer. He's going to suffer. Everyone suffered. Not a single person won their fight. So, like, the fact that he's picking on this character seems like he didn't watch Black Clover. Or you can find a different... Like I said before, Itadori from last video. Itadori is a vehicle to let everyone know how weak he was, or at least letting everyone who's just as normal as he is to see how detriment the situation can get when someone like Gojo is not around. He's literally a vehicle to let you know how worthless and hopeless one can be if you're not prepared or you're not ready for something. That's literally the ultimate understanding of my understanding of him.
Legit spawned something he could never before and just doesn't make it.
Yeah, because remember, he used that to get rid of the kid because he couldn't kill him. So he said, the only way I'm going to win is to sacrifice the situation. Which, luckily, because Mono joined, because Sukuna has a hard-on for this man, it's like, that's the only reason why he survived. Let's just call it for what it is. So I don't see how Itadori is such a, a suffering character. It just doesn't work for me. He's literally a vessel and a vehicle for both Sukuna and the audience to let you know how bad the situation can get when someone like Gojo, the parent, is not around when the kid needs their parent. I'm using it as a metaphor. So, like, it is what it is. Shit, I think Naruto struggled more than this dude, to be honest. And that's not saying much. I think Midoriya struggled more than this dude in a certain way. Because, like, the fight between... Because, remember, Midoriya went up the mountain to go get the kid back at the training arc.
Says not Goku.
The kid ran... Or Goku. But, like, the kid ran up... Went up the mountain to go get the kid at the training arc when the villain was attacking. And he had to fight Muscular by himself. He didn't have no All Might. All Might was already depowered pretty much at that point. I think around that point. A little after that point. I think it was after that point. Yeah, it was after that. But, like, All Might wasn't there. All Might was already sick as it is. But so, like, it was like, he was under that impression that he didn't have All Might there. That's why he told Shota to leave. Because he knows he's not going to win this fight 9 times out of 10. And he don't want this kid here. That's why I would say someone like Midoriya, because he knew the situation, that he knew he's not going to win this fight. Right? Someone like Itadori will think he can win because he can throw hands. That's it. That's it. Let's just call it for what it is, because he has Black Flash. That's it. That's it. That's nothing more. There's nothing higher than that. So.
Says All Might didn't come with them.
Yeah, he didn't come with them at all. They was on the field trip by themselves. Like, and All Might was already pretty depowered as it is. Not after the fight with him.
He
And
suffered more because he lost everything at once without the thought of it. Cause I remember Gojo told him people are doing to Skull because you can't save everyone. It's up to him whether he can take it or not. I don't think
Says
he took
Yuji
it
is your
seriously.
average street fighter.
no, but the premise of this video is, has the protagonist suffered from beginning to end? Like, before they even got their so-called special powers or whatever, did the protagonist suffer from beginning to end? Not the end of the show, but like somewhere where their respective arcs are at the moment, or I don't see Itadori suffering. I just don't see it. He only suffered viciously because
That's
of the.
I mean, he didn't suffer from beginning to end just in that moment.
That doesn't count. I don't count that account. I have to. The suffering, like the way I look at the suffering protagonist, it has to be like a Timmy Turner situation, right? Timmy Turner was suffering before he had this. I'm using an example. Timmy Turner had his he was suffering because he didn't have anybody. Once he got his fairies, he didn't suffer as much. He made stupid mistakes, but he didn't suffer as much.
His grandfather and had a good school life growing up with no parents.
Yeah, but that's not suffering. That's just life. Suffering, stuff like that. That's not technically suffering, because he was already like grown enough to be on his own. Because I think majority of the time in Japan, you can actually live on your own at a certain age anyway. It doesn't have to be like, I think you have to be like 15, 16, 17, 18, I think, to live on your own. So he was already at that age where he can take care of himself, right? So, and he's he's abnormally strong for like no reason. And then we kind of figure out why he is. But so I don't see him as a problem, like being suffering. Yeah, he lost his parents.
Telling you that's why I wouldn't consider him being that character.
No, I don't consider him being that character either. I think this was a poor choice. I think Asta was probably a better good choice at this. Or what's another suffering character?
In the beginning, he just kept Sukuna under control.
I think either Eren Yeager, Kaneki, Eren Yeager, or Asta. These are three suffering individuals in their own right. Itadori is just a coincidental problem to me. I don't think he's that. I don't think it's. No, I just don't think.
Of responsibility, incredible physical ability, but there was also an almost unwavering connection to his humanity. His very first introduction to the show is him helping others. His love for people and the need to do what he believes is the right thing is what defines his character.
Who doesn't fit? What anime protagonists don't have those traits? Tell me one who doesn't.
Says would Denji fit?
Gaku did more work.
I would say no. When you're saying Goku did no. When they're saying suffering, they're not talking about working out.
Support hero today.
They're not even talking about power.
What
this dude is fucking robot. What this dude is talking about is suffering as a human being, or like just suffering as a person. And after they get their abilities, so like someone like Goku will not be a suffering individual. Goku's strong and just happy-go-lucky. Nothing really bothers him.
To hold onto Sukuna, but they never showed him cracking under Sukuna
or something. But
only for a little bit.
I wouldn't count Goku as a suffering individual. The only time Goku suffers is when he literally loses someone, and then what's even funnier, they just have the back pocket of the Dragon Balls. Right. Well, there are rules using the Dragon Balls. I won't throw those out the window, but it usually benefits them in the story wise in the long run anyway. So it is what it is. So yeah, I don't think Goku would count. I think someone like Itadori, Asta, Itadori, Midoriya, Asta, and Guts. I don't know, Kaneki.
I hate the Dragon Ball so much.
I know it takes the permanency of death out the window. That's why you have to nerf the Dragon Balls in general. You know what I'm saying, you have to nerf them. You have to take them away. That's why I think that's exactly why what's his name? Akira Toriyama wrote the Dragon Balls the way he do, so they scatter away to make it difficult to find them. But what he should have did is have them scattered throughout the space time continuum, like one on Earth, one on Mars, one like different. They're on different planets. Like I think there's 7 planets. If you put 7 planets with every 7 balls, that would make more sense because it makes it difficult to get them.
Suffering with Sukuna, I think that will be better cause he has to live with that curse every day. That's what GT did.
They should have did that from day one, but I think GT has the writing GT was so like.
Kinda like how Stone from Soul Eater when he was falling into the insanity.
No, but that's usually a psychological thing that happens when.
Bruto. Stein.
See, the thing is when what this person said, the YouTuber is saying is that it has to be suffering from beginning to end, not suffering at one point of their life or a one arc. They has to be suffering from the day you met them to the end of whatever's happening in their show. Kind of like that.
But is also the one thing the world of Jujutsu Kaisen seems to despise the most. Yuji inhabits a world that is actively...
Create a new player, reach adventure rank 6, and complete the license to glide quest to support the stream. https://sterms.net/genshin_artextric. Yes, I know, but I'm saying it would be better if Sukuna could make him go insane slowly.
He doesn't have to. Yeah, I don't think he has to. I don't understand, but like, there's no point for Sukuna to do that because he already made like a deal with him that he doesn't remember, so it doesn't really matter.
Trying to either use him, dispose of him, or strip him of his humanity. There's even been times where it appeared that Yuji would fold under pressure, give in to that darkness. He has once considered himself a cog in the machine like everyone else. He does not possess a cursed technique, he doesn't have a unique ability, and he burdens himself with the problems of others. He is, in the eyes of the godlike monsters around him, incredibly and remarkably human. Yuji is
yes, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Nah, I don't think so. You gotta go by personality traits and character designing. So like, Sukuna is a person who doesn't have to do it if he is a person who'll do things if he doesn't have to. So like
imagine Sukuna is just showing him a different reality.
No, I don't think he would. To be honest, because like based on what I've seen on Sukuna, based on character design and overall personality type, he is the type who's narcissistically a psychopath.
I'm just saying.
He's normally a psychopath. So a psychopath is a individual who likes the narcissism, likes he's not into killing. A lot of people get the idea of psychopathy like thing is just about the rage of killing. It's not. It's what serves me at the moment, and everyone else, fuck them. That's literally what it is. So the idea of Sukuna, and I actually have a video I wanted to present you guys, but I'm not too sure I should present it on the psychopathy thing on anime because I don't know if that's gonna piss off TikTok. But like the idea of psychopathy is a narcissistic individual who has nothing but they're a person who fakes the idea of sympathy. They don't lack sympathy. They fake it. So the problem with that is with Sukuna is that he won't do something unless he doesn't have to. This is why when he in that scene where he had those 2 girls bow down to him.
Just thinking for the plot line.
Yeah, but with those girls,
the stupidest decision by doing that deal.
No, he did a smart decision. It made total sense why he would do that. Like this is why I'm explaining it because he doesn't he's a villain, right? he's ultimately a villain. He's not going to be a friend, right? So what he'll do is, he is the essence of what the devil is. He'll make a deal with you, and he doesn't have to do anything unless you're going to do it for him. That's what a psychopath does. They do anything to self-serve themselves if they don't have to lift the finger. So that the deal part makes it interesting because you don't know what the deal is. That's the point. That's why he made him lose his memory, because if he remembers, then he's going to probably use that against him. That's why he took that idea of him remembering at all. It makes total sense to me. You gotta look at it as a psychological sense.
Monsters around him incredibly and remarkably human. Yuji is consistently and relentlessly punished for trying to play hero, for trying to save people, for trying not to kill, for trying to hold on to his humanity. He struggles and fights against those who believe him weak. He had to watch so many people die. He's had to make difficult decisions and grow up from being a simple high school kid to a full-fledged jujutsu sorcerer. But we as viewers are given reassurance that no matter how much this world pushes back against Yuji, he will keep moving forward as a human. He won't allow himself to be taken by that poison, even if his peers will. Through all the destruction, death, and chaos that ensues during Jujutsu Kaisen's runtime, the moment I cherish the most are the ones with Yuji simply talking to someone about how he feels. Each time, we as the viewer are able to see that ever-present humanity along with the person he is speaking with. Nanami, Nobara, Higuruma, Todo, all these characters have played major roles in Yuji's development, imparting important lessons and perspectives Yuji needed as a way to either express his struggle to someone he trusts or to remind him of what's important to keep moving forward. The conversations I think back on the most are the ones Yuji shares with Nobara and Higuruma. With Nobara, after the battle against the two death painting brothers, her and Yuji realized they didn't just simply exercise curses, but mutated humans. Where you would expect most characters in this moment to simply justify their actions as a way of survival, much like how Nobara processed it, Yuji took a moment to mourn the people he had to kill, saying, "I'm happy that you and I survived. I'm relieved. Even so, because of the life I took, tears were shed. That's all." And with Higuruma, someone who is ready to shut his eyes to the weak and embrace the darkness, the light in Yuji's eyes reminded him of who he was. When trapped in the confines of Higuruma's domain, given the choice to relinquish the blame of the massacre committed by Sukuna in Shibuya, Yuji takes the blame and faces almost sure defeat. After the fight, Higuruma explains to Yuji that he knew he did not commit that sin, asking him why he decided to admit to the crime when he didn't commit it. And Yuji responds, "Even so, it's my fault because I'm too weak." This is a character who chooses to remember who he is and what he has done. Where other characters will make justifications for the death of others in order to continue fighting, Yuji will never trample over the dead to reach a goal. Where Jujutsu Kaisen pushes our protagonist to strengthen his resolve through battles with villains like Mahito, who himself is the literal embodiment and curse of human beings, Yuji fights against the poison with the will of those who believed in him at his back. To me, Jujutsu Kaisen is not about tossing away your humanity to become strong, to succumb to the ideals of a curse just to become another pawn in Jujutsu Society's game. The ethos of this story is to rage against it, to reject the poison, to remember the dead, and to struggle against the gods and remain human. In the words of a great man, there's nothing wrong with being a child, and there's nothing wrong with being human. The current state of Jujutsu Kaisen is uncertain. With the way things are, Sukuna seems to hold all the cards of how things will go as we near the end of the series. In order for the forces of good to defeat Sukuna, we can't simply beat him. Yuji must overcome Sukuna in a way that breaks the cycle of greed and power seeking. He must defeat the very idea of Sukuna, and I hope Gege grants him that opportunity. Yuji is my ideal protagonist, the struggler protagonist that I've been looking for. He isn't a cog in the machine, he is a lone wrench thrown in it, wedged in the cracks. And I hope that by the end of the series, he isn't the one that breaks under the pressure, but the one who causes the wheels to stop turning. Thank you, Yuji. You are my hero.
So So you're telling me you take the only actual human person amongst gods and just call him the sufferer? That's like taking a baby and making the baby play basketball against grown men and calling him the sufferer. Like that's I don't know about that one, bro. I don't know about that one. I don't know. Maybe this is a hot take, but I don't think that I don't know. He can make a good point, but I don't think it's a bit unfair. That's literally your hands tied behind your back type response, because like if I think of it, like it has to be in the confines of how this is fair. But I don't know. Maybe I'm I don't know. That's a weird one. I don't know how to feel about that one. Honestly. It's different.